guys.
On the Saturday evening of July 23, 2016, 23-year-old dental student Kaylee Sawyer attended a bachelorette party in the small city of Bend, Central Oregon. She was seen dancing at the Mavericks bar with her two friends at roughly 10:45 p.m. and was reportedly highly intoxicated at the time. An hour and a half later, at 12:04 a.m., she called her long-term boyfriend Cameron to come pick her up. He said he would, and arrived just 6 minutes later. During the short drive back to their shared apartment, they got into an argument after Kaylee admitted to talking with another guy at the bar. Cameron got annoyed and accused her of flirting with someone else, at which point Kaylee got extremely aggravated and asserted he had done something similar the week before, and that she hadn't attacked him for it. When they arrived at their Alpine Meadows apartment complex, Kaylee was in tears. Her boyfriend told her to take a minute to cool off, and went up to their second-story apartment at exactly 12:14 a.m. Kaylee was left in the car with the keys, but by 12:24, she still hadn't come up. Cameron went back down thinking she had passed out, but when he got to his car, it was empty, with the passenger side door left open and the keys left on the driver's seat. Cameron tried calling, but her phone rang out, so he sent her a text asking where she was and got a reply within 3 minutes. She told him she was sorry she wasn't good enough for him, and then said goodbye. Assuming she was walking to her friend's house roughly 4 miles away, he got back in his car and drove up and down College Way trying to find her, only because he wanted to drive her to her friend's so she wouldn't have to walk in the middle of the night. He couldn't find her, and wasn't aware of her friend's exact address, so he assumed she had
How
arrived
do they know
at her
exact times?
destination.
Probably based off of the
Cameron
text
then
messages.
went to sleep, thinking that the best time to talk would be when Kaylee was sober in the morning.
Or from
but when he tried calling her
testimonies.
again at 9 a.m., it went straight to voicemail. Kaylee's phone remained off throughout the day, and her presence on social media abruptly ceased. Her friends and family grew increasingly
sign.
concerned, and a missing persons report was filed at exactly 7:31 p.m. to the Redmond Police Department. As Kaylee's boyfriend, and being the person she lived with, Cameron was
guys. I'm
the
gonna put
first
some
to be
moisturizer on
questioned.
my face.
He
My
was the
skin's dry.
last person to see her, and admitted they had gotten into a heated argument on the night she went missing. In most circumstances, this would make someone the prime suspect and the central focus of an investigation, yet the Redmond police would later testify that they were confident he was innocent.
He was forthright with us the entire time. He allowed us to look at his computer, allowed us to look at his phone, allowed us to look in the car, allowed us to go through the apartment. He was so cooperative from the get-go. We've had suspects, boyfriends, husbands, spouses, that have done these similar things that also act obviously cooperative to try to steer us off them. So we weren't ignoring him, but it's hard to put into words. You do this long enough, and sometimes you can just tell when almost like the fear or the sadness isn't genuine, you know? And you could see like he truly had no idea where she was.
Investigators then switched their focus. They wanted to find the identity of the man Kaylee was talking to in the bar the night before. So the next step was to check surveillance and interview each of Kaylee's friends that were out with her that night. However, none of this was carried out, as the very next morning the first lead would emerge. Police officer Isabel Ponce Lara arrived at the Redmond Police Department, stating she had information about the missing girl and that it involved her own husband.
He's like, I killed a woman, that's what he said. I'm like, what do you mean? Then he's like, I hit her with the car.
And what did you say to that?
So I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you hit her? And he's like, yeah, I hit her and I panic. So then I asked him, like, that's what I was trying for him to explain to me. So you hit her with the car, that's an accident.
Yeah.
Why? What do you mean you panic? What do you mean?
And what did he say?
He just kept saying I panic, and at that point he's already, like, he got up and he's already, like, going into the room and walking back and forth. And I'm not really quite understanding what he's telling me. And then he just kept saying, I need to go, I need to go.
Oh,
and
boy.
then right before he left, he's like, there's her stuff in the shed. It wasn't making any sense to me. But when I saw the stuff, I'm like, oh fuck.
Her husband was 31-year-old Edwin Lara, a campus security guard at Central Oregon Community College. He drove a work-issued public safety vehicle, which, much like a police car, had a partition divider that separated the front and back seats, and the back doors were unable to be opened from the inside.
This logo looks like what every guy wants to get tattooed on him. Can I just say that? or like any like Call of Duty Warzone content creator, like an animal with that kind of expression and like 3D bolded text font of their name right underneath it. You guys see it too, right? Just making sure we were all on the same page here.
It was just 30 hours after the missing persons investigation was launched, and police now had their prime suspect. All they knew was that he told his wife he had accidentally killed the victim, stole her firearm before fleeing, and was now unreachable, with his whereabouts unknown. The Redmond police then checked the shed that was mentioned in his wife's statement and made a gruesome discovery. Inside a trash bag was Kaylee's purse, clumps of blonde hair,
football
and
teams
a large
also
rock that
count.
was covered in blood. The evidence disputed the fact that Kaylee had been hit with a car.
Large
Police
rock
came to the
covered in
assumption that the
blood.
rock was most likely a murder weapon, and the clumps of blonde hair had been ripped out of Kaylee's head as she was subdued, and most likely raped. The Redmond police then switched Kaylee's case from a missing person to a homicide, and her family were made aware that in all likelihood, their daughter was no longer alive. That same evening, at exactly 8:45 p.m., 19-year-old Andrea May walked out to her car after working a double shift at a clothing store in Salem, 2 hours north of where Kaylee went missing. She took a quick selfie on Snapchat and was scrolling through her Facebook newsfeed when all of a sudden a stranger, armed with a gun and wearing a
Gee, I wonder how they accessed that photo. On Snapchat, the thing that's supposed to disappear and delete your photos. They don't disappear. Nothing leaves the internet. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Would I consider putting... What did I just do? Wait.
out of fear of her life.
I don't know what I just did. Would I consider putting my true crime reactions on YouTube? Yes. Yes, I would.
Door and got in. He pointed the weapon at her and told her to start driving. Out of fear of her life, she obeyed. He then told her to drive to California, which was a 10-hour journey, but made her pull over after just 1 hour so they could switch seats and he took over the driving. After almost 3 hours, he stopped at a roadside motel in Southern Oregon. He told Andrea to pretend to be his girlfriend, and that if she alerted any suspicion or even made eye contact, he would immediately kill both her and the clerk. The moment he got the keys was captured on surveillance. The clerk would later testify that he knew something was off, as the girl had clearly been crying due to makeup running down her face, and also seemed nervous and fidgety the entire time.
Ring fell off, sorry. Bro, this poor girl's still in her work uniform, I think. She's looking around, dude. She's trying to find shit.
Once inside the motel room, Edwin handcuffed Andrea to the bed and demanded that she took sleeping pills. She initially refused, at which point Edwin pulled out a syringe and said she could either take them willingly or forcefully. She then swallowed 3 tablets of unknown strength, but was smart enough to warn him that she had an STD and passed out soon after. They left the motel early the next morning before daylight and continued on to Northern California. By the time they got to Wairika, Edwin noticed the car was leaking oil, so he pulled over at another motel for the purpose of stealing a new vehicle. Andrea pleaded with him to leave her behind, but Edwin told her she had to come with him, and that if she ran, he wouldn't hesitate to shoot her in the back. They walked up to a middle-aged man unloading his car. Edwin pulled out the gun and demanded the keys, but the man refused and yelled out for help instead, at which point he was shot in the stomach, Edwin then grabbed Andrea's arm and ran from the motel
Unfatal.
toward the gas station next door. They got to a car carrying a family of 3 people, including an elderly woman. Edwin forced Andrea to get in the back seat as he got in the passenger seat, then held the driver at gunpoint as he made him drive away from the scene. He let the family out 15 minutes later, but forced Andrea into the front seat, despite her continuous pleas to let her go.
Why?
Moments later, he recorded a video on her phone, detailing who he was and what he had done. He then made her post it to her Facebook page and title it Murderer on the Loose. Edwin then called his wife and his family, all of whom told him to turn himself in. He then called 911 at exactly 6:52 a.m.
911 emergency reporting.
Yes, hi. This is Edwin Lara, and I'm the guy on Interstate 5. You know, I am wanted for murder in the state of Oregon.
What the fuck is
Where are
happening?
you at right now? Can you stop?
I am going to stop once I hit Reading. Once I'm in Reading, I'm going to stop.
Okay, can you tell me where you are right now?
I have no idea.
Are you by yourself or?
No, I have someone with me. I kidnapped her in Oregon. She's innocent. Her name is Andrea. I'll let her give her last name so you can call her family, okay? Just give me
Okay.
just give me a second.
Hello?
Yeah, hi. What's your name?
Andrea?
Are you hurt at all, Andrea?
No.
No? Okay. Let me talk to Edwin again.
Okay.
Shouldn't say your last name. What?
You're heading southbound on 5?
Yeah, I'm heading southbound on 5. I'm passing a state trooper, a highway patrol right now.
You're what, sir?
I'm passing a highway patrol.
Are you able
Yes.
to safely find somewhere to stop?
I'm not going to stop right here. I'm just going to turn myself in Corning. Okay?
Are you going to Corning Police or where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to Corning Police. But I want to ask you a favor.
Uh-huh.
So I have asthma.
You have asthma? Okay.
Yeah, so you tell them not to be too rough on me because, you know, I can barely breathe right now. All right, so that's all I wanted to say.
Oh,
You know, I don't
boo-hoo,
want-
bitch.
Or?
Yeah, well, I think so. I'm going to need my inhaler. I forgot my inhaler at home. You know, I went all over Salem, Oregon looking for an inhaler, but I guess they don't sell it, you know,
What?
behind the counter or out of counter. So
Edwin, how fast are you going?
I'm going about 120 miles an
You're
hour
going
right
about
now.
120 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Can you slow down?
Well, I want to make it there quick. That way I can turn myself in.
Well, the officer sees you. We just don't want you to speed away from anything. If you can stop and just give yourself in, it'll probably be easier.
Well, there's an officer behind me right now.
Okay, they see you. We're talking to them. They see you.
Yeah, she's seeing me. I think it's a she. She's right behind me.
Okay, the officer sees you, and are you able to safely stop?
Yeah, I can stop, but not right now. I'll stop in Corning.
What's the difference from stopping now in Corning?
I just don't want to stop right here in the middle of the road, you know, putting myself in danger and putting everybody
What in the
else in
fucking
danger, or in
O.J.
danger, I
Simpson is
guess.
going on
Do you
here?
have any weapons with you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I do have a gun on me. I am not going to flash the gun, so you tell them not to shoot me.
Okay.
No, I don't want to die.
Okay, you stick by your word, though. I'll let them know.
Yeah, I'm not, yeah, I'm going to let them know. You know, don't hurt Andrea. You know, she's a nice girl. I am wanted for the death of Kaylee Sawyer at Bend, Oregon.
Okay.
And I am very remorseful for that, and, you know.
Okay.
I know her.
Edwin, are you able to stop? The officers behind you, they don't know if you're running and stuff.
I'll slow down for them.
Okay, you're going to slow down?
Yeah, I'm gonna slow down.
Okay.
You know, I don't want somebody else to get hurt.
What did this guy just have like a 20-hour fucking like
So are you going to stop?
blackout and he's come to his senses now?
Yeah, maybe. I will stop right now. I'm just, you know, I'm shaking up. I mean, I'm shaking.
I understand. And it,
I don't want to get shot.
So-
You know, I know this is being recorded, and you know, I just want to say to the family of Kaylee that, you know, I am sorry. I'm sorry for what I did to her, and in time I will tell them where the body is. You know.
Do you want to let me know or just have this recorded where it is?
No, I remember.
Okay.
So, I mean, hopefully the police officer doesn't shoot me. Okay, I'll let you talk to Andrea.
Okay, are you gonna stop?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop.
Okay, once you stop, make
Okay,
sure
here's
that
our tray,
you
okay.
at all time, okay? Don't hang up.
I'm not.
What?
Hello?
Yeah, hi, Andrea. Are you
Hi.
okay? You don't need any medical or anything?
No.
Okay, Edwin,
Please
where's this
don't
gun
let this
at?
girl
Does
get
he have
shot,
it
dude.
between his legs?
I don't know.
Can you see it? He said he had it between his legs. Is he stopping?
Yeah.
He is stopping?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, make sure your hands are up too and stuff. I know you're on the phone right now, but just hold your hand up so they can see your hands too.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay on the line with you until the officers get there, okay? And you're gonna be okay. Andrea?
Mm-hmm.
Does he have his hands up?
Yeah.
He does have his hands up? Okay.
He's already walking towards them. Karen!
Was there a Mario coin?
Step over to your right. Step over to your right. Away from traffic. Drop down to your knees.
My left ear enjoys this one.
Don't move.
It was just after 7 a.m. when Edwin Lara was arrested and taken into custody at the Redding Police Department in Northern California. He was brought into the interrogation room at 1 p.m. It was now exactly 60 hours after Kaylee had gone missing.
Hello, sir.
Hi,
My name is Sergeant Beckwith.
I'm Mac. Wait, I shouldn't introduce myself because
Nice to meet you.
We know a little bit, right? So a couple things. We got some housekeeping items to talk about
Okay.
Before we start talking about things. Those are going to be your Miranda rights and your right to counselor.
Okay.
And then I wanted to talk to you, just to let you know where I'm coming from, because it sounds like you've done a lot of good things, even to this point. And so we're not really concerned about the NBA at this point. It's going to be about, finding her. Okay. So, but before we do that, do you have any questions for me on the onset before I advise you of some things? Because I'm going to advise you of your Miranda rights and your consular rights,
Okay.
right? Before we start talking about things at all. But as far as questions you have before we get into that, I'm a all my cards on the table kind of guy. Okay, I'm not going to come here and try to be all tricky or whatever. Detective McLaughlin's the same way. Okay.
well, all I gotta say is that I want
Good cop, good cop.
Okay.
I'm gonna do everything possible to go home.
You
Yes,
want
sir.
to go home.
And
This
home
guy,
in Oregon?
not going home.
Okay.
Of course,
Because
home, right?
yeah, we're
Not
working on
going
that as
home.
well. Okay. So that's something we're working on. Do you want us to notify the consular's office at this time?
No.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing I just want to get.
Yes! Literally say yes. What the fuck? People are so stupid. I hate it.
To the nitty gritty. We have not been able to find Kaylee's body. Can you please?
That is legitimately
help
such
me
a
find her
the
body
worst
before we
answer
start
ever,
talking
dude.
about anything
I hate
else?
it.
The reason
What does
why I'm
that do? It gets you a lawyer, and the lawyer tells you to shut the fuck up because all the police do is sap info from you and then give it to the prosecuting attorney to throw your ass in jail. I cannot express this enough. Even when you're innocent, get a lawyer and say nothing. The police won't do anything for you. They will give all of that to the person against you in the court of law who will use all of it to nail you into jail. Get legal advice. They get paid for a reason.
asking you that is, I've done this a bunch of times.
I want to tell you where the body is.
Yeah.
I do. But I want to get home first.
Okay. So here's what I know about this. Hear me out, sir. We can't change what happened. The three of us in this room. And people will care more about what happens right now than what happened before. So we know that you've been talking to some people, et cetera, right? And because we have different jurisdictions, I can assure you that right now the DA's office is working on allowing us to take you back to Oregon, okay? But They're still working on that, okay? So in the meantime, we need to consider some things, okay? If this information gets to other people that you were like, hell yeah, I'm gonna tell you, but only until I get what I want, they might try to think of this about something different.
That's just not how it works when you're a
The suspect has
fucking
stated
criminal.
his desire to be transferred back to Oregon, where his family is, and will only start talking once this is guaranteed. The detective's response is to induce fear. He starts attacking the suspect's character and alludes to the perceptions of others with regard to his character. This type of approach is typically used at the later stages of an interrogation, as building rapport is most often the main focus this early on. The most common approach at this moment would be for the officer to lie and tell the suspect they will do everything in their power to fulfill the request. However, the most common approach is not always the most effective.
Right? And so what I've determined is, and we've looked at this a bunch of times, is I don't think you're a bad guy.
The detective now elevates the suspect's character by what's known as reframing. He presents a different way of looking at the situation, which puts the suspect in a more favorable light. This is the perfect approach to take at this moment, yet the detective marginally slips up. He appears to get slightly aggravated once the suspect breaks eye contact and reverts back to a mild display of aggression.
Right? I think that things have spun completely out of control, sir. Sir, am I right? Okay.
The detective seems to have a hard time in concealing his disgust and anger. It's a slip of the mask, but fortunately isn't too drastic at this early stage.
But, that being said, you know from your training and your education that we have a massive load of resources right now dedicated to one thing, and that's to serve the victim's family, okay? And they need that, and they need that right now. And so, I need you to remember that it doesn't matter so much about what happened, it's what you do now.
Yeah. And you know this, man. Not
Matt wants to do a map.
So before, can I say the story what happened first?
Yeah, as you're drawing, please, or whatever you'd like to do, sir.
Let's do a map first.
You want us to get you out of that stuff?
Highway from, yeah.
It says, you'll see it right away.
Buried in the ditch.
Is it buried or?
It's not buried. It's not
Just in the ditch itself?
It's just in the ditch.
Okay, it's outside of the highway across from that mailbox. Correct.
You're doing good, Edwin. You know what? This is not easy. I know you might be a little bit scared. We're going to hear what you have to say. We really, really want to. I'm thankful, and so is Sergeant Beckwith, that you know what the right thing to do is right now, and that's to help us locate
Throw you to
her.
jail. Help us throw you in
For
jail.
the family, for the community, for us, for you, for your wife, all that good stuff, okay? So I'm thankful to you. I want to say that right away, that you hear what this man has to say and that you've got a heart inside of you. And I know, because I was in your house. I saw the Bible. I know you thumb through it a lot. I see that you've tithed for months consecutively. I know you have God in your heart, okay? And that's just not a trick. That's eternal, right? You know that. But I'm not talking about this moment. I'm talking about the big picture, okay? And so I appreciate your honesty.
So,
A little Jesus guy,
what
huh?
happened, man? What happened? Like the straight up, what happened?
So I was putting the signs up.
Straight up, what happened?
Like the-
Come on, bro. Just tell me.
Cyclists and whatever. You know, I was in a hurry because I wanted to get out of here. And I was gonna turn south on College Way on the D4 lot.
I think he actually did hit her with his car, but just
It's worth noting
Killed
that
her,
investigators
thinking
had already
would
come
just
up with their own
run out
detailed
or
account
whatever.
of what most likely happened.
I think
which
he
was
did
that
hit her.
Edwin offered Kaylee a ride, and that she trusted him because of his occupation and the vehicle he was driving.
I think he's gonna end up accidentally hitting her, and in some weird panic decided he needed to kill her and thought he could just like bail. That's my guess. Cool. Ad done. We run it.
Kaylee a ride, and that she trusted him because of his occupation and the vehicle he was driving. Once she got in, he drove to a secluded area, raped her, and then murdered her with the rock that was found in his shed. They will entertain his version of events to start with, but then push for further admission once they attain his baseline narrative.
And I didn't see her. She was wearing all black. So I was in a hurry, so it was my fault. And I wasn't expecting anybody, at that time of night. So I just turned and I didn't hit her that hard. I just bumped her with the patrol car, bumped her with the front rack. And she fell down. And at first I thought, first thing I was, I killed her, but I didn't hit her that hard. So I got off the car and she was really drunk. And then she looks at me and then she started screaming.
She started screaming,
Yeah.
or you?
She did.
Or she was disoriented from getting hit with a car.
So I panicked and I just grabbed her by the throat and I told her, shut up, shut up, shut up. So she passed out. I put her on the back of the patrol car, drove her up the B12 lot, and then I was panicking. I didn't know what to do. She already seen me. She saw my face. So I opened the door, and that's when she came back. She started screaming again. So I grabbed the chokehold, and I was telling her, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. She was struggling to scream.
This is quite the response for accidentally hitting somebody.
So I threw her down and I hit her with a rock on the head. After that, I dragged her body behind a tree there and I hit her with another rock. And that's when I think she died because I heard her breathing her last breath.
Oof. Oof.
He goes on to state that he left her body in a deserted parking lot,
hate that.
goes home to wash his clothes, drives back with his personal car, wraps her body in a plastic sheet, and puts her in the trunk.
So what happened next?
So I drove her to a ditch by.
Did he have
with my
sex
parents'
with
house.
the body?
And she was kind of heavy, So I just grabbed her and pretty much ripped everything off her, like her clothes. I threw her in the ditch.
He goes home, but then returns soon after to move the body to a more secluded location.
And at this time I was feeling really bad, because I've never killed anybody, and I feel really bad about her, about the girl.
He hasn't talked about it once, but I didn't JCS say that that was like a confirmed thing that happened?
And I was feeling really bad about what I went to. Because she's my everything.
Clearly not. Bitch. No way he admits
And
to
I
it.
know that most likely I will die in prison, And that's gonna be one of the things that I'm gonna take in my heart. Isabel. And the regret of killing this girl. And I know this is being recorded and
Yes.
to the parents.
Doesn't do anything.
The dad has been looking for her non-stop. I apologize.
That doesn't do anything, dude.
She looked like a really nice girl and she didn't deserve what I did to her.
I woke up with this thing in my heart, like heavy, and I'm like, so I knew that from the moment I told my wife she doesn't turn me in, because I know her. And she loves her job and she loves what she's doing now, and I knew she was gonna do it.
no matter how much he loves me. So I told her with that purpose. I told her I killed this girl. I'm gonna walk out of here.
This literally all happened. This is his response to accidentally hitting somebody. Now, I don't know about you, but I think if I accidentally hit somebody, which I'm not planning on it, hence accident, I think I would probably make sure they're okay. Not kill them and then kidnap somebody else. I mean, I probably would have been pretty fucking relieved at the second she started screaming, because that means I didn't kill her. But then, you know, you just kill her anyway. I mean, it's not like people plan accidents, you know, like they do just sort of happen. That's why they're called accidents. Everybody thinks they're good at driving, but we all fuck up.
I'm gonna drive out of here. You do your thing. She's like, why are you putting me in that spot? I'm like, because I know you're gonna do the right thing. I know you're not gonna be my accomplice because you're not the type of woman. So she kept telling me, please don't leave, just turn yourself in. And I'm like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison.
He recounts the events leading up to the morning he left the roadside motel with his abductee, Andrea.
I mean, I knew that sooner or later I was going to get caught. And you know, for a fact. You know, and
You was trying to buy some time?
I was trying to buy some time so I can say bye to my family, I guess.
Did you talk to your family after this?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Not so good. My grandpa told me that I screwed up my life. My mom and dad can believe it, or my stepdad, I should say. He's like my dad. Can't believe it. You know, they were very concerned about me.
A large middle segment of the footage was cut. For whatever reason, the district attorney refused to release it. But what we know is that the investigators managed to get Edwin to drastically change his story. He goes from stating that he accidentally ran the victim over to now intentionally picking her up. He claims to have thought she was a prostitute, tried to solicit her for sex, and then panicked once she refused and affirmed that she was in fact a student. He said that he initially tried to make sure that she wouldn't call the police before letting her go, and that she then started screaming once he wouldn't let her out of the car, at which point he panicked and thought he had no other choice but to kill her. He goes on to state that he first got into the back and choked her unconscious. He then took her to a secluded parking lot and then bludgeoned her to death with a rock. There was no mention of sexual assault. The fact that he thought she was a sex worker is highly implausible, as prostitution in the area was unheard of, whereas drunken students walking home was a common occurrence.
What
and
the
they
fuck
would
are
often
these
get a ride
police
from public
doing?
safety
What?
officers if they were to pass one. The suspect would have known that a young woman staggering home was most likely a drunk student as opposed to a prostitute. The detectives know this, and now try to push for the next step of admission. They attempt to get him to admit that his immediate intention was to both rape and murder the victim as soon as he saw her walking alone on the road.
This is fucking stupid. This is so fucking stupid because just get the guy for second-degree murder. That's second-degree murder. You killed somebody in the moment because your emotions got the better of you and you did something stupid. That's so easily guaranteed. You know how hard it is to guarantee first degree? I mean, they have to have him admit to it directly here that he premeditated this or find evidence that he was going to do it beforehand. That's the only way you can pretty much stick first degree murder in a trial. It's very fucking difficult. The fact that they had him pretty much describe second degree murder to a T and then have him recant it and change everything is so dumb. I mean, what's the point? What's the point in going for the first degree here? Like, no, you can't go for both. You can't, unless there's multiple murders. You can't say a murder is first and second because the degrees are what differentiates the type of murder. So first degree is premeditated. Second degree is crime of passion or passion, murder of passion, whatever. And third is reckless endangerment, pretty much. So it means like you knew a situation was dangerous. You knew the person involved would probably get harmed and you didn't really care and they got killed because of it. Crime of passion is your emotions got the better of you and you killed somebody because of it. First degree is somebody is like, I'm going to kill a person or this person or people, etc. And it's premeditated. They knew in advance they were going to do it. They want a stronger case. The stronger case is the one they already had. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you their stronger case is the second degree murder. Unless this guy's an absolute fucking idiot and just goes along with it and admits to the premeditation. That's him admitting it here or them finding evidence of before he committed the crime that he was going to do it is the only way that it'll hold up in a trial. It's the only fucking way. What's the difference? The time they're in jail. But you can get thrown in jail for a long time for second degree depending on the state anyway. And he has an assortment of other crimes attached to this, so he'd probably get thrown in for plenty. First degree is really hard to prove. It would guarantee a long sentence, if not a life sentence, but he straight up admitted to second degree right fucking here. Like that whole interview. He described all of it. Second degree, sexual assault, grand theft auto, kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon. I mean, he has there's 7 crimes in this one thing. They don't need to flip the script. That's what's pissing me off. Can they still take him to court for second? I mean, yeah. Yeah, they can, but what I don't understand is why they made him change what he was the footage cut, his story is changed to something else, and now they're trying to push for that. It just seems kind of silly. I mean, I guess it doesn't make a difference. They already have the second degree, so they might as well try to push for the first if it is true. But they could have done this without making him change his statements around, is what I'm saying. Wasn't Chauvin charged with both second and third? Third and second can fit into the similar stuff, I believe. Wait, Chauvin. What did Derek Chauvin do again? I don't remember. Was that a JCS video? Oh, George Floyd. Wasn't it just second? It could depend on the law in Minnesota as well. Yeah, what is really hard is there's very baseline things for murder charges, but the sentencing and the ways to be charged for anything depends on the state as well. So I know Missouri laws and stuff. My best guess is Minnesota has something that lets second and third be tied together because you could say second because obviously the situation was emotionally charged. And you could also say third because what he was doing was reckless and he knew it was and he did it anyway. But he was also in the moment emotionally, so he killed somebody in the moment. So like that, you can definitely sell second and third together a lot of the times. I feel like that's something to do with Minnesota law. I've never seen something like that in Missouri, I don't think. I don't think the guy that killed Mike Brown was, I don't think they pushed for second and third. I think they actually pushed for first degree. It was a while ago, though. I don't remember. I think that was one of the main issues with the case, though. Mike Brown's family did civil sue the guy who killed him, and they got like a fuck ton of money off of him, though, I believe. But yeah, I think the problem with that case was they tried to go for first degree, and it's just... the point is, it's really fucking hard to prove first degree murder. Very hard in the court. You can push for it in this. You can try your hardest. You literally need like physical evidence or the suspect to admit to it. That's it. It's the only two ways. Can't do it based off of evidence, forensics, nothing. None of that can prove prior intention. Back to the video.
So a couple things you need to understand, and we're finally getting to the real problem here. We really are. Is you knew she was never getting out the car the moment you shut that door. Well, let me finish. You need to let me finish, right? Because I know this, okay? Because you said we were hookers. She's like, no. Immediately you go to give me your purse and your phone.
Well, I knew she wasn't gonna get out.
She wasn't gonna survive that encounter, was she?
No,
because you can't rape her and let her live, can you?
And she can't make a phone call if you have it.
I wasn't gonna rape her.
Well, you can't let her live.
Edwin, we're missing something here, man.
Look, yeah, I know what you guys are thinking, and it makes perfect sense. It does.
Because
why would you ask for her purse? What was in your head that made you want her purse?
Because, you know,
just in case she had a gun, she could defend herself.
She was gonna use her phone
to call 911. Call for help.
So, but listen to this. According to your story, this is where it does not make sense. If your intent isn't already there to do some kind of harm or some kind of evil to her, some friggin' evil that's there, bro. It's there.
Jesus,
you just gotta
dude.
face it down, man. You can't cower away from it. You face that damn thing down right now. If you know the only way, if you don't have intent in her head, your thought is, I gotta keep that phone away from her because she's gonna call for help before anything bad's even happened. You've already made a decision. Am I right or am I wrong? Help me.
So
they're trying so hard.
To silence her.
To kill her. Let's be real. When you say silence her, you mean kill her. Is that correct?
Okay. Because
when did you make that decision?
When she started screaming. Because she has seen my face.
Not
but
first
you
degree.
Already grabbed her phone. You
Not first degree.
Her away from making a
They're
call
trying
for help
so hard.
or contacting someone. So you're already preserving yourself. So I'm thinking it's before when you ask for the purse. I think you already know in your head, I'm going to silence her. I'm going to kill her. Why else would you ask?
So when
such a reach. It's
like she had her phone because I knew her phone was back there. Like it just clicked on my head, and I put her purse back there. Her phone is in there, you know. So I told her, "Give me purse." So she hands over the purse, and I'm like, "Your phone is not in here." And she goes, "Yes, it is." So I start digging in the purse with this hand, and I find the phone, and it's there. So, and you know, very relieved. But at this time, she's struggling with the door, and I'm telling her, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up."
You know why you felt relieved when you found that phone? You know why? Tell me why you felt relieved.
She wasn't calling her help.
And she was never gonna get away.
Because she had seen my face already.
She was already seen your face. And you already knew what you were gonna do.
No.
You were gonna silence her, you already told us that.
Well, yeah, but
why else would you grab her phone?
Because from the moment, that's when I knew that she wasn't a hooker.
They're trying so hard.
You know.
And she's gonna tell. She's gonna say something.
If I let her out of the car, she's gonna go say, "Hey, you know, security guard raped me or something."
Okay,
do you
but
have
there's
dominion over a woman.
Dominion.
Mm-hmm. Dominant. Is there anything about her life that means less than yours?
No.
Okay.
But you told us earlier when you
What
were
the
trying
fuck
to
kind of
contact people in
question is
Salem,
that?
you wanted a woman who was weaker.
Weaker woman because I knew a guy was gonna fight me and I didn't want to kill anybody.
Right. So you have dominion.
I don't
What
necessarily.
I guess what I'm getting at with that question
Even this
is
guy's
that
confused.
at some point or another, something as minor as an offensive comment, are you a hooker? I mean, honestly, what we've approached there is you possibly losing your job for offending somebody. Okay, people are offended every day. People lose their job for offending people every day. That all of a sudden became more important than the life of a human being that you say is equal.
I think
This is a very bizarre set of questions, especially considering what the detectives are trying to achieve. They are attempting to get the suspect to confess to first-degree murder with special circumstances, along with rape in the first degree.
These
By
are like
attacking his
ridiculous
character
questions,
like this,
though.
and alluding to his supposed warped view on women, he will be unlikely to give further admission. It's more likely to get his guard back up and make him focus on preserving what he has left of his reputation. The detectives should instead be downplaying the crimes. They should be reframing his motives as both understandable and uncontrollable.
This is so
almost as
emotionally
if
charged. Like they're
premeditated
clearly
rape and
trying
murder
to
could be
get
committed by
some
anyone
fucking
on a bad day.
She honestly thought that I was gonna do something.
You were, man. Edwin, that's
Because-
the problem. Right now, you were. You absolutely
At first I wasn't.
Yes, you were.
No, I wasn't.
Well,
Sir.
let me back up. Let's just settle this right now. When you saw that girl and you picked her up, were your intentions to help her because you're a security guard on the campus and people look up to you? Was your intent to find some way to help her? Or was your intent to find a way to f her, either by paying for sex or taking sex? And when things went south, you knew you had to kill her because now the person she looks to for safety and security wants something from her that she doesn't want to give him.
Once again, instead of downplaying the crimes, he lays out the scene in a blunt manner. He makes his disgust at the alleged conduct far too noticeable, when he should be remaining indifferent at minimum. Some investigators would even be able to feign companionship and sympathy at this moment, which would significantly increase the likelihood of further admission.
So when I picked her up, because usually when we help someone, we call her on the radio.
Did you call her on the radio?
No, because I thought she was a hooker. And when I realized she wasn't a hooker, I felt discovered. Oh, crap.
Bro, these dudes
now
suck.
She's gonna go tell the whole world that I was looking for sex.
Oh, wow, how weird would that be for a dude to be looking for sex? See what I'm saying? And that's not that bad.
Dudes
right?
look for sex.
Dudes look for sex.
Well, yeah, but not a security guard that is supposed to protect.
Well, I think you just said it, man.
Another random dude walking the street.
So are we lucky in the fact that the first time you can't control your urge to have sex with a beautiful woman, that we catch you?
The sound that you heard after the strike of the first rock, before you hit her with the second, is agonal breathing, and you know this. It's the sound of life leaving her body. It's the sound of the life God breathed into her,
That's not what he said. He said after the second
Leaving
strike,
her.
he heard it.
and her life being no more, going away, being done. It's the sound of everyone loving her, mourning. It's the sound of her blood crying out from the friggin' earth.
The guy said there was 2 rocks. He said he
Right.
hit her with a different rock
You know
after he
this.
got back
You need to hear it though.
behind the tree or
Okay?
some
I
shit.
respect you enough, Edwin, at this point, that I've asked you for detail, and now I'm gonna give you my own. Okay? Those are the cold hard facts. Does God still love you? Will he forgive you? Will he bring you back into his heart? Will he?
This is actually quite a good strategy, as the suspect is highly religious, yet the focus should be kept on this element
okay,
as opposed
fair.
to the magnitude of the crime, which the detective for some reason continues to incorporate into the dialogue.
Questions you have to answer for yourself. But the truth of the matter is that her blood cries out, man. That her life is gone. It will never be replaced. The truth of the fact is this: what you mistook for a hooker.
The
was
truth
an
of
absolute
the
angel.
fact?
Was the apple of her mom and dad's eye. Was the breath that they breathe.
What is this guy talking
that they
about?
spent and cultivated all their life raising and growing, and she is gone forever with your semen all over her.
Although the detective's approach is somewhat miscalculated, this is a highly revealing moment, as there is no denial whatsoever
Utility
from the
technique.
suspect about his
Can't
semen
believe
being
it.
on the victim.
That's the truth, man. Okay? It's brutal. It's hard to say. It's hard to sit in here. But you gotta face it before you can look your God in the eye and ask for that forgiveness and be able to receive it.
The investigators get no further admission from this moment on. This enabled the suspect to eventually take a plea deal in order to avoid the death penalty in 2017. They needed a confession of either rape or attempted rape to remove any sort of leverage from his defense. His sentencing hearing commenced on January
believe it.
22nd, 2018.
This morning, 32-year-old Edwin Lara pleaded guilty to aggravated murder in the death of 23-year-old Kaylee Sawyer. This plea deal means he will avoid a possible death sentence. Amy Frazier is live in Bend, where she's been at that hearing. Amy?
Well, Kaylee Sawyer's family and friends have packed a courtroom here today as they face her killer. There's been both tears and intense anger as they tell the judge how Kaylee's murder has impacted their lives. At about 9:30 this morning, 32-year-old Edwin Lara pleaded guilty to 1 count of aggravated murder. He went on a multi-state crime spree, kidnapping a woman in Salem and then driving to California, where he's accused of shooting a man and then carjacking a family before being caught. This morning, Kaylee's grandfather told the court he has 3 wishes.
Number 1, to have our Kaylee back with us, alive and well, and pursuing her life. Number 2, I'd wish to have this piece of garbage, the defendant, sentenced to death for what he's done to my Kaylee. And number 3, I wish the court system in the state of Oregon would just hand him over to me and allow me to administer the death sentence.
Kaylee's mom also spoke today,
Goddamn.
calling Lara a monster. More family and friends will speak later this afternoon. The judge is expected to sentence him later today or tomorrow. We just found out a little while ago that the judge has sentenced Edwin Lara to spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of release, without the possibility of parole. In July of 2016, Kaylee went for a late-night walk. Lara, who was working as a security guard at Central Oregon Community College, lured and trapped her in the back seat of his patrol car. Prosecutors say he took her purse and phone and drove her to a remote parking lot on campus. Prosecutors say he sexually assaulted her, and Kaylee fought for her life. Lara then, we're told, used a large rock to kill her and then dumped her body off the highway near Redmond. Now, just before being sentenced today,
Awful, dude.
Lara addressed Kaylee's family and the court.
God Almighty, who art in heaven, hallowed be tonight.
The grandpa's getting up and leaving.
I'll ask you to please heal the hearts, all those broken hearts of this.
You guys are lucky an ad's playing. This is cringy as fuck.
All along, Kaylee's family
That
has
was
said they want her to
absolutely
be remembered
cringe.
for the joy and the love that she brought to life. They say justice is now served, but it doesn't ease their pain. Again, Edwin Lara will spend the rest of his life in prison without, we're told, any chance of ever getting out. Reporting live in Deschutes County, Amy Frazier, KOIN 6 News.
Ridiculous.